Come on. Sure. Let's say streaming now. Check my page. And yep, we are live. What's going on, people? You see what it is. CP3, Big Hurt, week 18. Commanders stun a lot of folks, including the Dallas Cowboys and Big Hurt as he's raising hand. I had optimism. I didn't know if they were going to do it, knowing that Cowboys were going to play all of their starters and had first place in the division on the line. I wasn't sure what it would look like, especially with Mr. Turner calling plays looked like on his way out of DC. So I wasn't really sure what to expect, but I love the way the defense played. You know, the offense, we ain't going to get into that, but Sam Howell, I best believe there will be a whole bunch of talk about his performance and about going into next year. I was on the record when they drafted him. I said he was a Taylor Heineke with an arm, and he has those intangibles, and he could possibly be the answer because, you know, his whole offensive repertoire got pillaged to the draft. That's why he fell to the 5th round last year. But he has all the tools to, you know, possibly be that guy, and it's definitely going to be that conversation. But I'm not going to go too far into it without bringing on our special guest for the last episode post game of the 2022 season. Big Hurt is in the building. How's it going there, bruh?
I want to apologize ahead of time. I'm drinking 99 apples, Gatorade, and a frozen Crystal Light out of Jordan Reed cup.
So oh boy!
Up before this whole thing is over, and I'm gonna say some things.
Uh-oh. Well, let me go ahead and share this stuff before you get going. So you go ahead and start it off, and I'm gonna go in and clean it up.
Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be assholes. These Cowboy fans, knowing that we had no Gibson, no Robinson, no Wentz, more importantly, no Heineke, no Curl, no whatever the middle linebacker thing, whole bunch of starters gone. Okay, we were on our third string. Pro Bowl defensive tackle not playing. Hit me up all day. Hey, don't take this ass whooping personally. They texted me and telling me, oh, we about to, you know, don't feel no bad about it. Why I know this is my hardcore Cowboy fans, my homeboys, they was quiet. It's the we like their pretty colors Cowboy fans that was on my ass all day. And I'm being cool. I'm like, look, y'all better put in work because if this is a close game, y'all gonna have to hear my mouth. So when we scored the first touchdown, I was like, all right, that was luck. That was luck. I looked on FanDuel, we were still, you know, plus 500 underdogs, even though we was up by 7. I'm like, I'm not going to do it. But then as the game went on, and Dak had nothing for Del Rio, I started to believe, left hand up, who are we? And here we are, talking about winning a game that makes us 500, that lets whoever the new owner is, Jeff Bezos, as I've been telling y'all for 2 years, know that Ron Rivera is worth keeping. This was a stunner of a victory. It sends Dallas limping into the playoffs. They have the easiest possible matchup of broken and over-the-hill Tom Brady in the first round. But what the fuck?
Yeah, it was a interesting way to start. Special teams was definitely special today on both sides of the ball. Cowboys, the punter muffing the snap, and then the punt returner banging off his face mask, and then Joey Slide. I don't know what was going on with him today. I saw he made the first tackle on the kickoff, so I don't know if he might have hurt something or something wasn't feeling right, but yeah, he's been quality, and I want to go ahead and address that because I've been talking to some of the fans. They talking about he needs to get cut, yada yada. I'm like, do you remember he was the special teams player of the month for the NFC last month? You know, no one's perfect. People make mistakes, and if you don't recall, there are a lot of Redskin Washington football team kickers still floating around the league that are still pretty pretty accurate and pretty good, but we let him go because, we have a knee-jerk reaction to things all of a sudden. So, he had a bad game, but for the most part, he's had a pretty decent season. And, folks have such a knee-jerk reaction to adversity. It's like, take a chill pill, man. Go smoke a bowl. Chill out. Why are you that's like somebody firing you when you burn the fries the first time. They're gonna demote you, put you on mop bucket duty, but they're not gonna fire you.
We don't wait on anything as Commanders fans, as Washington fans. This is the most toxic fan base in the NFL. We don't wait for facts. We don't like facts. We are pure emotion. We're pure emotion. And then we're very revisionist. Like, everyone's calling for Scott Turner to be fired. Everybody. There's nobody sticking by him. But I guarantee in 3 years, after he goes to another team and fails, and then goes to another team and finds his way, people are going to say, oh, we had him, but we let him go, because that's who we are. I think he should be fired. McVay. Jay Gruden did a great job of convincing everybody that his problems were actually McVay's fault. So when he was gone, he was gone. The coach for Green Bay, I can't remember his name.
LaFleur.
There was nobody screaming, let's promote him to head coach.
Yeah, a quarterback's coach.
Come on, be serious. When Kyle Shanahan left here, after his father ruined the best talent we've ever drafted at quarterback, after his father ruined him because of his jealousy, he went to Cleveland and sucked. He went to Atlanta and choked before he found himself in San Francisco. So for everybody like, oh, we thought we could have had Kyle shit. Y'all you wouldn't have stood for it. You would not have stood for that much losing. Sometimes you got to leave to get better. Remember, apple fire cook.
Yeah, now see, you getting some stuff that's going to make some folks really. Matter of fact, let me go check the chat. I know they probably going crazy after you said that about RG3, because I got so many folks.
Look, people both of the Hurts House fantasy football leagues this year, okay? I want them both. So you can't really tell me nothing right now.
Yeah, Scott, I've been trying to ride. With him. But he reminds me of Jay too much, where he goes away from what works. We saw in that 6 out of 8 games they won, his game plans were pretty good. I enjoyed watching it. There was some fluke stuff every now and again, but he stuck with it. But then 3 weeks in a row, he goes back to his 3 wide receiver, 1 running back, 1 tight end formation, running 3rd and 1 out of shotgun, 4th and 1 out of shotgun, doing everything that an offensive coordinator shouldn't do. So believe me, I've taken a beating from all of the fans saying he's trash. But I've been defending him. But this last stretch, I can't defend any of the things that he's done, especially this game right here. You throwing sideline to sideline. The object is to go up the field, not sideways. And then it's like he's running the ball just to appease Ron and just to appease what we've been saying, but he's not running with any purpose. Not no strategy or no game plan. He's just calling random run plays. And to me, when you came up under North Turner, your daddy, who ran the ball to win 3 Super Bowls that you were on the sideline for, the light should come on sooner or later. And it comes on, but it flickers out and goes out. And with this talent, I felt, honestly, I'm working on an article and I'm about to get to the coordinator spot. I feel Scott Turner cost us at least 4 games this season because of his play calling and because of him not sticking with the run, going back to the game when Brian Robinson had 89 yards on 12 carries, averaging 7 yards a clip. And then he wants to get pass happy the second half of the game. You got Brian Robinson get you 2nd and 1. You bring in Williams, leave him on the sideline, and then 4th and 1, you do a toss to the short side of the field to Williams instead of giving the ball to Robinson, who got you to the 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. It's like he's doing things that goes against everything they're trying to do. And I feel like with the talent that we have, that we see that we have, if we had a potent, competent offensive coordinator, we wouldn't be talking about the last game of the season. We'd be talking about this team going on the playoff run. What do you think about that?
Well, first of all, you're absolutely and you say that you think Scott cost us 4 games. I can think of 3 off the top of my head, but the truth of the matter is, he only had to cost us one. He only had to cost us one for us to be where we are. If he had cost us 2 games, we're in the playoffs. If he had cost us 3 games, we're probably in the playoffs. If it cost us 4, it made all the difference. It made all the difference. There was no reason to lose that Cleveland game last week against Mr. Rub My Booty Hole. There was no reason to lose that game. No excuse. But I put that on Ron for forcing Carson Wentz back in. It's like I like Ron Rivera as a motivator, but he needed to motivate his offensive coordinator the way he motivates his players. Del Rio, people wanted his hand early, and Ron stuck by him, and that turns out to be the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, we don't lose him to a head coaching gig this offseason, because it's very possible. But Scott going away from things that work, it was very Jay Gruden-esque. Very Jay Gruden-esque. By the way, Jay Gruden was on Jacksonville 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they was like in last place. And then he leaves Jacksonville and goes to the Super Bowl champions, and the Super Bowl champions have under 500 record, and Jacksonville's going to the playoffs. And I don't think it's a coincidence. I just want to shit on Jay Gruden real quick if I can.
No bull, bro. I said that when he left here, he would never have another head coaching job or even a job in the NFL. Somehow he convinced them to sign him on to Jacksonville, and as you said, that lasted barely a year. So, yeah. Anytime you want to shit on Jay, I have no problem with that at all because I do it all the time. That dude was.
And then Sean McVay gave him a pity job. And he's got a job with the Super Bowl champs. Maybe that'll help him. But here we are.
Yeah, it's definitely a head scratcher. But with Scott, I don't know. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt because it's third year being the offensive coordinator and play caller. So I was like, he has some growing pains to do. Boom, boom, boom. But when you see the same thing over and over again, that's like you can't keep on doing it because that's the definition of insanity. You expecting a different result. So I mean, if they keep him, like you say, it's on Ron because Ron preaches in the media, yeah, run the ball, boom, boom, boom. But when you see him calling these plays, you need to yoke that dude up or say something like, hey, look, Robinson is hot. Keep feeding him the ball. Why are you throwing the ball? Or why are you in 4th and 1 in shotgun? That's the thing I guess that was the tipping point for me because that's basic football 101. If you're in shotgun and you're handing the ball off to the running back, he has no momentum going to the line no matter what battering ram, John Riggins, Gerald Riggs you got. But when you line up the quarterback under center and give the running back momentum going to the line, it's 9 times out of 10 you're going to get that 1 yard. But he continues to do it like he's going to fool somebody like, it's going to work this time, instead of sticking with what works. And that was, to me, the most frustrating part of watching him call plays that are basic football 101 knowledge, and he does the total opposite. And then with Del Rio, like you said, folks was, because of his politics, and I want to point that out, because of his tweet over the summer, his politics, everybody wanted to have reason to fire that man. And in the beginning of the season, when the so-called calling out Jamin Davis, when someone asked him a direct question and he gave a direct answer, which is what a man does, in which Davis said, he said the same thing to my face that he said, but everybody blew it up as that. And then, the defense isn't playing to the par. Why is he still here? And then lo and behold, they were in top 10 in every defensive category up until, a couple of weeks ago. And they've been in top 15 for the rest of the season. Sacks, turnovers, the defensive line playing like the monster that he thought it would. It took a little bit longer for them to develop. But I think the move from Sam Mills to Jeff Zonica definitely played a key role in that. Because ever since he took over, I feel like that D-line played more as a unit than as Marcus Wiley said they were playing individual ball instead of playing as a unit.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that Del Rio did a great job. If he does get a head coaching job, I hope they possibly promote, the line coach because he definitely got the best out of them. And I like the core that we have, and like they were mentioning, Derek Forrest, Cam Curl, Christian Holmes, all of these young guys that are hungry, that have potential, and that's another thing that you have to give Ron credit for. Before he got here, our drafts were shit. We were signing folks that would get cut, and you wouldn't hear from him at all. They'd be flipping burgers at McDonald's or something. Now we got people trying to pillage our practice squad to put players on their active roster because our scouting department is doing better. Even though Daniel Snyder is all behind it and he's the one making these draft picks, and that's why we suck.
Yeah, Dan Snyder's only behind it when it's bad.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like when Carson Wentz started sucking, all of a sudden we started hearing rumors. Well, Dan Snyder forced us to get Carson Wentz, and you saw Ron Rivera was asked about it, and you saw how mad he was at the insinuation. He's like, "Yo, that's my pick. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?" It's ridiculous. We're in this area. We're trained to blame Dan Snyder for everything because emotionally we want him gone. You know what I mean? And that's excuse me. But no, look, I'm drunk. I'm being honest.
No doubt. Just the burp came perfect timing, though. That's all.
We all want him gone for different reasons. I want him gone because the experience isn't very good. I had tickets offered to me to go to this game today. And I was like, do I really want to go to FedEx Field to watch Dallas whoop up on the Redskins the last game of the season? Yeah, I said Redskins. I went to Native Americans. I stand with the Native Americans. I call them the Redskins. It's like, do I really want to go there for this and sit in those tight seats, even though my old Santana Moss jersey is really fitting right now? Like, do I want to squeeze in these seats and watch this whooping? The game day experience is so bad. And it's not going to get better under Dan Snyder. That's the number one reason I want him gone. Because no one's going to give him a stadium. They're going to give Jeff Bezos a stadium, a very good stadium, maybe at the MGM. But we are an emotional fan base, and we've been bad for so long, we don't want to listen to reason. We just don't want to. And the truth of the matter is, this team is getting better, but I don't know. As good as Ron was with defensive players, Jamin Davis is coming around. Cam Crow looks like he's going to be the guy. Reese is going to the Pro Bowl, which is crazy to me. Fuller's playing like the number one corner. As good as the defense is getting, and as good as Dotson was, the offensive line is bad. The quarterback selection was bad. And it makes you wonder if Ron Rivera is the guy you want making those picks. Now, he's probably going to get one more year because ownership's not going to want to rock the boat when they first come in. But I don't know. I don't know if I want him selecting my offensive lineman. And I feel like our first two draft picks should be a tackle and a guard. That's our most glaring omission right now. I don't have a problem building around Sam. Do you want Ron doing that rebuild? Or do you want a young, hungry, offensive-minded coach? Because we clearly have a good defense. I don't know.
Well,
I'm going to drink out of this Jordan Reed cup.
I mean, with the line, to me, that's the last 2 years. Injuries have decimated them. I mean, the year before they were rated number 6, according to PFF, coming out of the season. So I felt like we had a good core, but when you're on your 5th center by week 4, I mean, what's going on? I don't the interior. I mean, Leno, like he took a step back towards the end of the season. Beginning of the season, he was playing, pretty decent, but I don't know. The injuries before, it was always the secondary that would get injuries. Now it's the damn offensive line the last 2 years. So I mean, we definitely need to get younger. I mean, Cosme is I feel Cosme is solid. I feel I got to look at the tape on Paul today. I didn't really get a chance to watch him during the game, so I'm gonna go back and look at him. And I thought we had the center position pretty locked up with Chase Roulier and Tyler Lawson, but the last 2 years, both of them ended up on the IR twice. And what's the left tackle? I'm drawing a blank on his fucking name. The left tackle, Lucas, he played solid for the most part until he went on IR, but you don't think so? I mean, they weren't really running to his side.
Offensive lineman, we need in between free agency and the draft, we need 2 starters on the offensive line.
Okay.
We need to use our number 1 draft pick on the left tackle. We need to get the best guard available, whether it be right guard or left guard. We need the best one available. If we can get the Texans left tackle, let's get him. Everyone talks about, we let Sheriff and Trent Williams go. They weren't coming back. Sheriff wanted to be the number 1 paid guard in the league. We made them an offer to make him number 1 guard in the league. He wanted to go Jacksonville. No taxes, more money. Go, have fun, mazel to you. Trent Williams knew that he would not get into the Hall of Fame as a Redskin. He had to go somewhere else and be dominant. And I wish he hadn't lied his way out of here, because I look at him weird for it. But he did what he had to do for his career. We weren't going to keep those guys. And if we had kept those guys, we wouldn't have McLaurin, we wouldn't have Jonathan Allen, and we wouldn't be able to still maybe get paid. And even if we have to franchise tag pay him, you can't let him walk. You got to pay him more than Allen, which is going to piss Allen off, but you got to pay him more. You have to keep him. If you keep Allen in pain, you still got Montez Sweat for another year. You still got Chase Young for 2 more years. This defense can be a monster. You have to keep all of those intact. You have to draft an offensive lineman. You have to sign one in free agency. Everything else will come together. Even if Sam Howell is your quarterback, you can build around it.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that.
If you get a chance, now, the same. Let me take a drink first. If you get a chance to bid on Lamar Jackson and you have Taylor Heineke as your backup when Lamar Jackson goes down, because if you get Lamar Jackson, you're only going to get 13 games on Lamar Jackson. But if you get 13 games on Lamar Jackson and 4 or 5 games of Heineke, we are a playoff team 10 years out of 12.
Yeah, I like Lamar. I definitely would love to see him come here because he definitely is a talent. Will it happen? I don't know. Like you say, new ownership possibility.
But if it does happen, it's a problem.
Oh, it's definitely a problem. It's definitely going to be a problem. Like that's just going to take the offense to a whole nother level.
Baltimore fucked up by letting him hit the free agency market. They really messed up. They're going to have to franchise tag him.
Yeah.
And it's going to hurt, but they're going to have to franchise him. You cannot let Lamar Jackson go. You cannot let him hit free agency because, if he comes here, the whole weight of the NFC East changes.
Oh, yeah.
It changes.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. It makes a huge, huge difference with a quarterback like that on this team. And I would, in essence, put Ron back in Carolina mode when he had Cam. So it's I don't want to look that too far. I don't want to look that far ahead. Say that again.
With more accuracy. Oh, come on.
Yeah, true. But let's go ahead and get back to some of the topics from this game and this season, since it's the end of the season. With all the possible fluctuations or changes that's going to come this off season. I agree. I think we agree that keeping Jack is a good idea. We both agree that getting rid of Scott is probably the right thing to do, but not sure if it's the best thing for this team. So if they make a move like getting Lamar, do you think that buys Scott more time to get his shit together?
Yeah, it definitely buys Scott more time. If you get Lamar Jackson, then Scott gets to say, well, I didn't have the quarterback talent to work with. I couldn't open the playbook to a guy with a noodle arm like Taylor Heineke or a statue like Carson Wentz. Now I have the best of both worlds. It opens the door for him, and I'm not going to lie. Get Lamar Jackson, I'm willing to give Scott a little bit more time. I'm not going to lie. And because I'm saying that, that tells me that if they don't fire him, I'm not going to be as upset. You know what I mean? Like, if you get Lamar Jackson, you get a coordinator who knows how his offensive line works, he knows how his wide receivers work. You kind of want to keep that together. So I would keep Scott. I would keep Scott if you get Lamar Jackson. But again, Lamar Jackson, that's kind of a pipe dream. You get Lamar Jackson, you can't get Deron Payne. Let's be clear about that. If you get Lamar Jackson, you can't keep Deron Payne.
You don't think so, even with guaranteed money and with us having $46 million under the cap?
$46 million under the cap, you're going to have to give at least 15 of that, maybe 20 to Deron Payne.
Yeah, I know. He's going to get at least 18. That's the franchise tag for
you're
the.
You're going to have to give him that.
Yeah.
So with that, and keep in mind, you still need 2 offensive linemen.
Nah,
so
true.
if you get Lamar Jackson, he's going to command $40 million a year to come here. There are other teams he would go to for less. To come to Washington, you're going to have to give him upwards of $35, $40 million a year. Lamar Jackson's going to want a 6-7-year, $200 million contract. I know that sounds weird, and I've been drinking, and that sounds like a lot, but remember these numbers. 7 years, $200 million. He's going to want something along those lines. He's going to want a huge amount of money. A huge amount of guaranteed money every year. He's going to want a Kirk Cousins fully guaranteed contract. If Kirk Cousins is getting a fully guaranteed contract, if he can steal money in Minnesota to be mediocre with the best wide receiver in the league, a great offensive line, a defense that's top 10 in scoring, a top 10 running back, then I'm going to want more money to come to Washington. You understand? Like, he's going to want all of that. He's going to have to get it to come here.
Yeah,
$40 million a year.
Yeah, that's the business side of it. You got a valid point. If Kurt robbing them and being Kurt, then yeah, he's definitely going to want more.
Kurt's robbing the bank. He's getting $30 million a year to get eliminated in the first round of the playoffs. Now, in this year, we got the battle of the frauds in the first round of the playoffs. The Giants or Minnesota is going to have to get a playoff win. Battle of the frauds. One of them's going to win.
Oh man, I think Kurt going to find a way to get his victory. But
oh yeah, I think he beats the Giants. I think the Giants are frauds. So I think his defense gets him over the Giants, and then he loses to whoever he plays next. Whether it be the Eagles, whether it be San Francisco, Kirk's out of there second round. And then, because he gets the second round, he gets to steal 35 to 40 more million from the Vikings. Because they can't afford to let him go.
Yeah, that Kurt he's a financial genius, man. I swear he found a way.
Kurt, he really put himself in position to steal money.
Oh yeah, he's the best at that.
Position to steal money. Hands up, watches, wallets, jewelry on the table, Kirk Cousins.
Yes, indeed. But let me go ahead and get into some of these stats since we didn't tangent off in a whole bunch of other conversations. This upcoming victory Monday for these Commanders that, like you said, finished the season at 500. For all of those folks that was talking about Ron hasn't finished over 500 since he's been here, are you happy now? He's for 500.
No. You know what they're gonna say? You know what they're gonna say? He still hasn't finished over 500.
Yeah. You right. You right. Before I even put it out there, but that's going to be their comeback. You ain't lying.
Robbing us of that one game.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know if these fans ever going to get it. But Dak Prescott, yeah, Dak had I don't know. I think he might have been partying last night because he definitely didn't look like himself. He went 14 for 37, 128 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Should have been more with a 45.8 quarterback rating. Sam Howell, rookie, first start, 11 for 19, 169, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 83 quarterback rating. Tony Pollard, 7 carries, 19 yards, 2.7 yard average. Jared Patterson, 17 carries, 78 yards, 4.6 yard average. CD Lamb, 5 catches, 52 yards, 1 touchdown. And Terry McLaurin, 3 catches, 74 yards and a touch. I like Patterson in there. He's definitely been one of my favorites since he got picked up as a free agent. And when he gets in, he's like a bowling ball. He finds that crease. He gets them forward yards and positive yards. And hopefully he can develop to get some snaps. But with Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson pretty much locked in, and Williams, he's an intriguing back to me. He's strong, runs hard, runs powerful, but it's like he's always like moving too fast. Like he doesn't wait for his blocks. He doesn't, when they do get him the screen, he sometimes gets in front of his blockers instead of letting the blockers set up his lane for him. But what is your take on the running back room, seeing Jared and Jonathan go today? Hurt?
The running back room has been really good because I thought that they definitely put Brian Robinson in before he was ready. Gibson was good. Brian Robinson was good. And as the weeks went on, you started to see what Ron was seeing in Brian Robinson. He's a dog. He don't want to be tackled. I like Patterson in the preseason. I thought he should have get snaps over Williams this entire season. That's just me. Whoever the running backs coach is earned his money this year because we didn't have a running back that missed. We had an offensive coordinator who missed on taking advantage of the running backs that we had. We didn't have a running back that missed. Patterson was great. Williams was great. Robinson was superb, especially for what he went through. He just got put back in too early. Gibson is over-reliable. I didn't have a problem with anything having to do with the running backs except for the fact that we didn't use them enough or creatively enough. Today, there was a play. And I was on the phone with my homeboy Big Hub. And I saw Dotson and McLaurin on the sideline. And what I said to him was, tell me you're running the ball without telling me you're running the ball. And it was the most predictive running play ever. Dallas blew it up for a 2-yard loss. Of course, if your top wide receivers aren't in the game, you're running the ball. That goes to Scott not being creative. The running back coach did great. He had his hands tied this year. That's my opinion.
I can't argue with anything you said. The running backs did their job. Robinson, I still can't get over, what he went through to actually get shot twice and it hit no bone, no ligament, and then he's actually able to come back and produce what was it? Almost 800 yards running the ball and missing 5 games. So
they're calling him Bullet Train.
Oh Lord. Bullet Train. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna leave that one alone. But it was definitely, the running back and the wide receivers are pretty much locked in. Tight end, I feel it's still a question. Logan, after he took that illegal bad hit last year that tore his ACL that they didn't even comment on or find the player for it because it was definitely a dirty hit. I don't know if it's just with the quarterback changes or he just hasn't looked like himself, even though he's healthy. Cole Turner, he was supposed to be, that red zone threat. He had the concussion early, so I don't know how that's going. I've been to call you about that to see if you heard anything. And Rodgers seems like he's nice. He's another Logan Thomas clone. Excuse me, ex-quarterback, athletic. And John Bates, I love my man Bates because he's the best blocker, and when he gets the chance to catch, he does have soft hands. So I think, the biggest two issues is the tweaking the offensive line and figuring out the quarterback situation. And I believe this offense, will be able to hopefully hold his own going into next year, especially with, like I said, mostly all the talent already signed and locked up and everything.
Yeah, we have very few talent that we need to keep our hands on this year. Deron Payne's number one glaring omission. You keep Deron Payne. You can sign Deron Payne to a long-term deal this year and lock up that defensive line for the next 3 years at the minimum, then you're good to go. You're good to go and go out and try to find a quarterback and an offensive line. If you have to franchise Deron Payne, because no matter what, you can't let him walk. That's a problem. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt when you try to help the entire team.
I'm thinking depends on how he feels and how he looks at it. I think that he wants to be here with his boy Allen and seeing what we're building and Mathis and so hopefully it feels like home. I'm hoping that at the beginning of the season, the way the DC sports media spin things when they announced that they weren't extending him for his 5th year, making it like he wasn't worth it, and not as they wanted to see what he was going to do and see if he can take that next step and actually get to the quarterback instead of just causing pressure. He went to sack camp this offseason, and he got his money's worth. He tied the all-time sack record for interior lineman for the franchise. And, I'm hopeful that, he wants to be here. Because then if he wants to be here, he's willing to negotiate, willing to work, and we can work something out. And like I said, if we lock up that, core, the sky's the limit for this team going forward. Because as long as you have a foundation and somewhere to start, you can always add to it. And that's the thing. Everybody wants to subtract and fire this person and fire that person, but never talking about building a foundation to make your team good, not just keep on firing people every 2-3 years and starting all over again. So it's definitely, like I say, I definitely see some positives with this team. Definitely see it's going in the right direction. Maybe not at the speed that everyone likes, but I mean, just looking at these team stats I was about to go over. First downs for the game, Washington 16, Dallas 10. Third down efficiency, which has been an issue for I don't know how long. Cowboys 4 for 18, Commanders 3 for 14. Rushing, Dallas 51 yards, Commanders 151 yards. Passing, Dallas 118, Washington 158. Total yards given, total yards 169 for Dallas, 309 for Commanders. And this was a telling stat: 2 penalties for the Commanders for 10 yards, 6 penalties and 74 for the Cowboys. Penalties has been one thing that's. Say that again.
Coaching.
Yeah, true.
Penalties, that's coaching, no matter how you want to split it.
True that. And then the number one stat for me, time of possession. 36 minutes and 2 seconds for the Commanders, and 32 seconds for the Commanders. 23 minutes and 28 seconds for the Cowboys. Now, normally when you win in time of possession and running the ball and your defense plays solid, that's normally a win. But unfortunately, the last 3 games, we still had that combination, and they turned out as losses. And like everyone says, why are they playing this hard for this game when it means nothing? And, when they should have did this last week. Like I said, I think it's the coordinator, and a report came out. I meant to ask you about it. A report came out this week with anonymous sources, as always, that said some players came out and said that they were upset with the play calling and felt it was too vanilla and too predictable. I was going to reach out to you for some confirmation because, so I wanted to get your take on that.
Mostly anonymous. What I respect about this is that Logan Thomas put his name on it.
Yeah, I saw.
Logan Thomas was very front, be like, yo, the play calling was a little whatever. I don't respect anonymous source. And I don't respect, first of all, I don't trust the local media to to not work their own self-interest. So they say we have 8 anonymous sources. I don't believe it. You may have 1 or 2. I don't believe it. I'll believe it when someone puts their name. Logan Thomas put his name.
Yeah.
His wife put his name. Like, she really went hard on Twitter this week. So you knew there was something behind it, but it's also something we can all see. Offensive play calling was a problem. The only saving grace, there's 2 saving graces for Scott. One, Ron is super loyal to his people.
Yeah.
He's super loyal to his quarterback. Gave Carson Wentz a chance, even though it could have cost him his job. He hung in there with Del Rio, even though it could have cost him his job. All that ended up being the right decision. And I think he's going to hang in there with Scott. And who's to say? Again, we're mad that we let all these people go. We wouldn't have sat through their adversity. Ron is willing to sit through adversity. If we can get 2 offensive linemen and a decent quarterback, this is a different team. And then we're all going to be like, oh, my God, I can't believe you almost let Scott go. Well, we're not going to say that. We never admit we were wrong. We never admit we were wrong. Like, we were wrong about Del Rio. His views on January 6th were fucked up, okay? His views on blitzing, they are right. It just is what it is.
Yeah, that's all I care about. I don't care about his politics. I care about what he does, coach on the field.
I think if we get 1 or 2 better offensive linemen, Scott's going to want to stick with the running game a little bit more.
I hope so.
And we're not going to get sacked as much when we drop back and pass on shot. We're not going to have to go in the shotgun as much because we're not going to get blitzed as much. That's how I feel about it. But I still don't know if I want Ron Rivera making those choices on offense. His defensive choices have been dope. Everybody he's went with on defense, even the guy, if we lose to Ron Payne, the guy behind the Ron Payne is pretty nasty.
Yeah.
So, he's pretty nasty. Like, defense has been pretty good. Called Jamin Davis out, he got better. Say what you want, he called Jamin Davis out, and he got better. If we stick, our defense is good, but I don't trust him to make those same good choices on offense. Because that offensive line is doo-doo butters. I'm drunk.
I can give you that. Like I say, it just boggles my mind with all the injuries that they had 2 years in a row. Normally you have 1 injury year, and the next year, it's better. But this year it was kind of the equivalent. Yeah, it's been a season. It's been a season. Oh, I want to give you congrats for winning the fantasy football title this year. I missed the playoffs by 20 points. So I saw you found the way to get that title this year. So congrats on that. It's been a terrible football. I was 16th in Pick'em. I missed the playoffs in fantasy and the crazy Commander season. So I don't know if I'm happy or sad to see this 2022 season go away from me, man.
It's weird because when it comes to the Hertz House Fantasy Football League, the Belt League, the only fantasy football league that matters, I ended up giving my opponent a second chance because my opponent had Higgins. And, of course, that tragedy in Buffalo really shook everything up. So what I did was I allowed her to use her points from Higgins today to count toward last week's matchup. So all she needed was 13 points. 13 points against a softer defense. And I told her I would split the title with her, but he only got 1 point. So I am your undisputed fantasy football champion. As for that Hertz House Fantasy Open, I'm going to look right now. I don't know whether I won or not. You guys are going to find out at the same time I find out whether I won. Let's see what we got. I'm pulling up right now. Pull it up right now. Oh, well, you can't see because of the
green screen.
because the green screen. Oh, and I take the Hertz House Fantasy Football Open. Let's go. The Open and the Invitational clean sweep. You can't see it. Look, that's it. That's it.
Congrats, bro. You done took both of them.
Champion of fantasy football, both Hertz House leagues, the Open, the Invitational. That deserves a drink.
All right, well, congratulations. I wish I can get my luck back because, yeah, I won the pick 'em last year, but like I said, my fantasy football, but no, my running back's been killing me, man, the last 3 years. I can't keep a healthy running back, bro.
Changed my drafting strategy this year.
Oh, yeah.
It definitely worked. So I'm going to improve upon that next year. I used to draft running back, quarterback, wide receiver. That used to be my strategy. Now it's running back, wide receiver, best available, and then quarterback. And that seemed to be working for me. So I think I'm going to do that going forward. Not to give away too much because I'm the double undisputed Hertz House fantasy football champion, both leagues.
Yeah, I went running back, quarterback.
It's cool to win 3 leagues twice. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. It's cool to win 2 leagues twice because I won last week, and the person who came in second was like, "Oh, come on, you got to give me something because what happened to Higgins, it wasn't right." She wanted to play the whole week over again. I was like, "No, you had one person left. You were down by 14 points. Like, I can't do it."
That sounds like a reasonable compromise.
Points. You were projected to lose. I can't do it. So finally just acquiesced. Like literally about 45 minutes ago, she acquiesced. She's like, "No, it's not over." I'm like, "It's over." But I know what she was waiting for. She was waiting to see if her lineup would have beaten my lineup this week. And that also wasn't good. So it's over.
All right, well, congratulations. We've been on rocking for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to get up out of here. Let the folks know what you got going on before we jump, man.
As people are calling me to tell me congratulations, Life versus Lymphedema is where you can find me at. Life versus Lymphedema. That's my YouTube page. I should have a new video up soon. I'm talking about my journey with lymphedema, which is sorry. I'm talking about my journey in lymphedema. I'm talking about my weight loss. As you can see, I've lost a lot of weight. If you saw me this time last year, that's what's been happening. Apparently, there's an emergency and I have to go. I'm being blown up right now, so I'm going to step out of here and I will holler at you later on.
All right, Hurt, take it easy, man. Appreciate you joining in, and I'll catch you next time. And I'm about to bounce too, so y'all be easy. Appreciate y'all checking out the final post game of the 2022 season. Stay tuned. Got some more things coming. 2023 is going to be huge. CP3, live from the lab, Sports on the Hill podcast. DC Sports are the politics. It's not just a catchphrase. It's not just a motto. It's what we do. And I'm out.